live in the same house as my mother and my stepfather. My stepfather was a preacher before my parents divorced, and he did marry her instantly. It took like several years, but it was really just him looking after her, because when you divorce and you're a woman, you can't make money. I mean, making money at that time in the 70s to find work after having been divorced back then was fairly rare. I mean, it was not that rare, but it was rarer than it is now. And people look down upon it if you got into a divorce. And so finding work in the 70s, especially with, so he was helping her support herself and me. And I decided to come with her, and my brothers stayed with my father. And so it was kind of like I was living as an only child, even though I knew I had a complete family. When you divorce, it changes everything. You no longer have. It's kind of like being ripped apart from a world, kind of like taken from one place and put into another, and then you have to kind of start all over again. And it's a learning experience, but then in that you find beauty for other things. It changes the kind of person you are. But that's kind of what's happened again, is that I got ripped away from where I lived in Los Alamos with my father, and ended up living in Houston for 5 years, and then I came to this place where I am now, living with my parents in this house in the Fort Worth area. You can find it, but I mean, I value my privacy, and so my mom was saying, today's Recyclables Day, and she's going to go to sewing and to be with girls her own age, and where they're working on quilts for the homeless, and for usually it's just for places, homes for children, juvenile, delinquent type. Sometimes it's just orphans, and so they make quilts for them. And she said that one time they came to a Christmas celebration with some orphans to bring them their quilts, and one orphan told her that, or it wasn't an orphan, but it was somebody who their mother had left them or whatever, and or the parents, whatever reason was, they felt like they were less than a person or something. And it says the whole time I knew my grandma, she never would have made a quilt for me, or my mother never would have done something like this for me. And it's then that they start to see that there are other potential adults in the world who could care for them, and that they don't need to feel like they don't have a mother, or they don't have a father, or they don't have a family, even when they do have a family and mother and father, and just have abusive parents, or that in whatever case, there are people out there that will care for you. And the reality is that one of the things that Jesus was trying to preach to people, the reason why they're saying this is my brother and this is my sister, is to allow you to realize that whenever you come in to being a Christian, that everybody behaves like a family. And in some churches that's been lost, people, it becomes more about having the church than it is about creating a family environment, creating an environment where people are looking out for each other. The people have little missions, that that they do things that is their work aside from their work, the work that doesn't pay out money, but it pays out love and pays out thanks and pays out just dealing with problems, and which is more important, the family that you have at home or the family that you have that where people share the same ideals. And over time you'll start to realize that you'll have a distance between you and your in some marriages you'll have such a distance between you and your and the person you're married to, and you'll have less distance. You'll be closer to the group that has your ideals and the church, and that church will help you deal with that marriage and keeping it going even whenever the love has disappeared. You know, that you're choosing to be with this person because they can't take care of themselves and they sure can't love you the way they used to. You know, but you need to stay together because this is what was important, was to look out for each other, you know, through thick and thin, even if one's not doing it so well. And in some cases, it's somebody who's living with a partner who has become debilitated and they're caring for them, and the person, say, has dementia and or even worse, Alzheimer's, and is no longer there and asking questions or repeating words. Or there was this couple that would always come to the grocery store where I was at, and this lady kept saying, "Johnny, are we there yet? Johnny, can I get into the car, Johnny?" You know, and you heard this all the time, and the husband wouldn't turn and face her and make her cut it out. That he understood what her problem was, but the rest of the world's not going to understand what's going on there. And I imagine it's just something that who knows when it started. Maybe it was there from the very beginning, from when they met, and this was something he was willing to put up with in order to have that relationship. Maybe that it was the thing that he liked about her, and that's where it started. You don't know, and you can't really judge it or really know why it is. And there are some people that are going to judge others based upon what's important to them, and not everything is important to, you know. Not everybody thinks the same way. Not everybody likes the same things. Not everybody sees beauty in the same things. There are some people that think that everything that, you know, that you know, we all see the world differently, and when people get married, you don't know what it was that brought them together, and you don't know what's keeping it together. But in some cases, if it's an abusive relationship, one half ends up going to church and the other one doesn't, and the one who doesn't probably is thinking, I'm too bad of a person because I drink. When I drink, I abuse my wife. I'm too much of a bad person. I can't possibly go to church. I can't possibly live with myself. But she can. And she'll go to church and she'll come back and she'll bring a little bit of heaven with her. And hopefully this won't be the end of it, because she remembers how it was whenever that relationship started, and she hasn't let go of it because she knows that you're just a ghost of the person that she knew, and she's willing to put up with what you are now.